Welcome to Psyche Talks. Have you ever found yourself sort of caught in what feels like an endless loop? You wake up, you've got good intentions, maybe some ambitious goals, but by the end of the day, you just feel like you've been running on a hamster wheel. Busy, sure, but not really moving forward.
hmm Or maybe you're constantly putting things off.
Right, or that inner critic, that voice inside your head just won't give you a break.
Yeah, that's so common.
Well, today we're really tearing into this incredibly insightful audiobook. It offers a surprisingly practical roadmap, actually, to break free from those kinds of patterns.
And it's interesting. It's not about these huge, grand, overnight transformations.
No, not at all. It's more about the subtle but consistent power of positive habits. Habits that, over time, literally rewire your entire mindset.
That's the key, the rewiring aspect.
We're talking about real practices for thinking sharper, feeling better, maybe focusing a bit stronger, and genuinely building a life that feels more intentional, more
Mm.
fulfilling.
And what's really foundational in this material, what really struck me, is the core premise. It basically says, look, you don't magically get a better life by just wishing for it or waiting for motivation to strike.
Which never seems to happen when you need it.
Right. Instead, you build it, like brick by brick, through better habits. The source argues pretty strongly that your life right now, it's a direct reflection of what you consistently do
Okay.
and how you think, and importantly, how you react to things.
Yeah.
So this deep dive, it isn't just about sharing information, is it?
No, we want to extract those crucial nuggets of wisdom, give you a bit of a shortcut maybe to some profound personal change. Change you can start implementing, well, today, not next year or next month.
Starting now.
Okay, let's stop drifting then and maybe start deciding. We're going to unpack some of the most powerful habits identified in our sources. These are habits that promise, and I like this phrase, no hype, no fluff, just truth in their results.
Yeah, it's very direct.
These aren't just theories, they're actual daily actions that can fundamentally shift your reality. So, the first habit, and it sounds almost deceptively simple, is to wake up with a purpose. Our source calls this one of the most impactful changes you'll ever make.
It's a big claim, but they back it up.
They do. They pinpoint how most people, and I'll admit, sometimes myself included, we start the day without real direction or urgency. We just react, whatever pops up first.
The phone notification.
Exactly. The phone, an email, maybe just that nagging thought about all the stuff you have to do, and that initial inertia that's sort of drifting at the start. That's precisely, they argue, where most people lose.
Lose their momentum.
Yeah, their momentum, their focus, and ultimately they lose the day. It's not about lacking intelligence or talent, apparently. It's about treating the beginning of the day like it doesn't really matter, and then you watch it just slip away.
And what's fascinating here, what the material really hammers home, is this profound statement. Your time is your life.
Oof, that hits hard.
It does. It's not just a cliche, right? When you waste time, you are quite literally wasting your own finite existence. Which raises this incredibly important question for all of us, I think.
Which is?
Are you truly being intentional with your time? Or are you just being busy? Because the distinction, it's absolutely crucial.
Busy versus productive.
Exactly. Successful individuals, as the source shows through different examples, they don't drift, they decide. And that decision, that moment of intention, it doesn't wait until after coffee or after checking messages.
It starts earlier.
It begins the very instant they wake up. It's not about hitting snooze or immediately scrolling through social media feeds. It's about moving with a reason, with a clear, predefined intention for the day.
Okay.
They move because they've already decided what they're building, what they're going after. They're not waiting for some external burst of motivation to hit them.
So how can you actually put this into practice, like tomorrow morning?
Well, it's about shifting that morning question, isn't it? From maybe what's on the to-do list, or worse, what do I feel like doing, to something deeper. What am I building today?
What am I building today? I like that.
Yeah. And our source talks about the power of pre-commitment. Deciding the main feeling you want or the single non-negotiable action for your day before the day even properly begins.
So you decide ahead of time.
Exactly. This simple pre-commitment, it isn't just about discipline. It kind of bypasses your brain's natural tendency towards inertia. You're essentially priming your brain to act.
Making motivation less necessary.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
It makes immediate action almost automatic. And this clarity about your purpose, this decisive start, it instantly gives you energy. makes you sharper.
And helps with distractions.
Definitely. It lets you easily say no to distractions.
Right.
Because you have this clear, overriding focus. Your actions become stronger, faster, much more direct. It just sets a powerful tone for the whole day. Hashtag, tag 2. Plan your day before the world distracts you.
Okay, so that builds really nicely on that spark of purpose, right? That clarity about what am I building today? The next critical step our source highlights is, well, stopping that purpose from being immediately hijacked.
Because it will be if you let it.
Oh, absolutely. Let's be honest, as soon as your feet hit the floor, everything around you seems relentlessly designed to pull you in 100 directions.
The notifications are relentless.
Totally. Constant notifications, begging for attention, the urgent agendas of other people. If you don't take control first thing, the world will absolutely take it for you. Our source doesn't mince words on this. They call this planning habit one of the best moves you'll ever make for your growth, your peace, and your future.
Which is quite a statement. But what's genuinely eye-opening here is just observing how many people live in this perpetual state of reaction.
Just reacting all day.
Yeah. They don't proactively decide how their day will unfold. Instead, they just respond. Whatever shows up in their inbox, their notifications, their immediate environment, that dictates their actions.
And that reactive mode, it inevitably leads to what? More stress.
A cascade of mental clutter, definitely. A heightened sense of stress, and maybe most frustratingly, goals that just stay goals. They remain perpetually out of reach, stuck in aspiration mode.
That makes sense.
Think about it. That seemingly innocent act of opening your phone first thing, checking emails, scrolling messages, it can instantly pull you into everyone else's agenda. Your own priorities get sidelined.
Right.
Planning, though, in stark contrast, it's an act of profound self-empowerment. It gives you back control. It creates what the source calls mental clarity through that intentional space of silence.
Silence before the noise starts.
Exactly. It's about being so deliberate, so intentional with your time that your actions genuinely move you forward. They propel you towards your biggest objectives rather than just keeping you busy spinning your wheels.
So, okay, how do you implement this? Does it have to be complicated?
Not at all. Our source argues you don't need hours. A mere 5 to 10 minutes in the morning. That's a game changer.
Just 5 or 10 minutes.
Yep. Sit down, maybe just with a simple notebook. Write out your top 3 non-negotiable goals for the day. Decide your priorities. Maybe schedule your deep work, those tasks that really need your full focus.
Put it down on paper.
Put it down. The source says emphatically. People who wing it usually waste it, but people who plan it build it.
Wing it or build it, okay?
And beyond just the practical benefits, this simple act of planning, it also significantly reduces anxiety.
How so?
By offloading those mental to-dos onto paper, you free up your working memory. Your mind can focus on doing things rather than perpetually cycling through the list of things to do.
Okay. It clears headspace.
Precisely. You're creating a structure, and that intentional structure, perhaps surprisingly, brings this profound sense of peace and control to your day. Hashtag tag 3. Talk to yourself like someone you respect.
All right, this next habit, it goes deeper. It dives right into our inner landscape, addressing that constant conversation, the one we all have running in our minds.
The internal chatter.
Exactly. And our sources highlight this uncomfortable truth. This internal dialogue is often surprisingly harsh, judgmental, relentlessly negative sometimes.
It can be brutal.
Totally. In fact, the source points out, if someone else spoke to us the way many of us speak to ourselves, we would cut them off without hesitation.
You wouldn't tolerate it from another person.
Not for a second.
Yeah.
Yet we keep listening to that inner voice, which is so often impatient, critical, undermining our every effort. It's this profound double standard we apply just to ourselves.
And this really raises a critical question, doesn't it? What is the true impact of your internal language? How does it affect your self-perception, your confidence, and ultimately, what you even expect to achieve in life?
Yeah, what is the impact?
Well, the simple fact is you cannot build genuine confidence by consistently tearing yourself down. It just doesn't work. You can't grow stronger or more resilient by feeding your mind this steady diet of doubt and inadequacy.
You can't criticize yourself into being better.
Pretty much no. The material strongly advocates for giving yourself the same kindness, the same patience, the same unwavering encouragement that you so readily give out to friends, family, maybe even strangers.
That basic decency we show others.
Right. And this isn't about fostering some kind of fake ego or pretending you're perfect. It's actually about cultivating radical honesty and fairness towards yourself. Look, you've made mistakes. Of course, everyone has.
Sure.
But you're still showing up. You're still trying. And that effort, that commitment, it deserves respect. It deserves far better words inside your own head.
So for you listening, the practical application here is to start catching those automatic negative thoughts as they
Yeah.
pop up.
Become aware of them.
Yeah, don't just let them run wild. Instead of letting "I'm not good at this" take root, actively challenge it. Try replacing it with something more empowering and probably more truthful, like, "Okay, I'm still learning this, I'll get better."
Or if your mind screams, I can't handle this.
Right, reframe it. Maybe to, "Okay, this is hard, but I have handled difficult things before and I will figure this out."
It's a subtle shift, but powerful.
And it isn't just fluffy, fake positivity, is it? Our source details how this consistent self-talk, it actually acts as a powerful form of cognitive restructuring. You are quite literally actively rewiring neural pathways in your brain.
You're changing the structure.
Exactly. By consistently challenging those negative thought patterns and replacing them, you're strengthening your prefrontal cortex's ability to override the more reactive, maybe fear-based responses that often come from your limbic system.
So it's actual mental training.
It is genuine mental training for resilience,
Yeah.
and it leads to profound mental toughness and, crucially, self-trust, real confidence. Hashtag tag tag 4. Take action when your mind says delay again.
Okay, this next one tackles what is arguably one of the biggest roadblocks for almost everyone: procrastination.
Ah, yes, the old enemy.
Indeed. Our source says that the precise moment your mind convinces you to wait, to postpone, put it off till later, that moment is the exact turning point where your future is decided.
Wow, that
Yeah.
specific moment.
That internal resistance, that urge to delay, it's the very wall standing between who you are right now and the person you could potentially become. It's like a moment of truth, playing out maybe dozens of times a day.
And what's really fascinating here is how delay so often shows up dressed as logic.
Dressed as logic. How so?
Well, it whispers these convincing arguments, right? Like, "Oh, I'm tired today," or "This isn't the absolute perfect time," or "Let me just rest a bit first and then I'll be more productive."
That sounds reasonable on the surface.
It does, even protective sometimes.
Mm-mm.
But in reality, the source powerfully reveals it as nothing more than a deeply ingrained habit of hesitation.
A habit of hesitation.
Yeah, and you simply cannot build anything substantial with hesitation as your foundation. Growth, whether it's personal or professional, unequivocally happens on the other side of action.
You have to push through the hesitation.
You do. And the more you delay, the stronger that habit of hesitation actually becomes. It creates this vicious cycle where you eventually stop trusting yourself to follow through on your own commitments.
Ouch. That erodes self-trust.
Definitely. So, for you, the key, as illuminated by our source, is to act quickly. Like within mere seconds, before your mind has the chance to spin up its usual web of excuses and bargaining.
A 5-second rule kind of idea.
Sort of like that, yeah. Every single time you choose to act when you don't feel like it, you are actively building discipline. But more importantly, you're sending this powerful, undeniable message back to your brain that you are in control, not your fleeting mood, not your inner resistance. You.
In the reins back.
Exactly. Our source emphasizes that delays rob you of peace. Because every unfinished task, big or small, it just lingers in your mind.
That mental clutter again.
Right, it creates this persistent background noise, a form of mental clutter that drains your energy, increases stress, pulls your focus away from what really matters.
So taking action clears that noise.
Taking immediate action, even on seemingly small things, builds what the source vividly calls a self-pigeon upgrade.
A self-pigeon upgrade. What on earth?
I know, it sounds funny, but they use this playful yet profound phrase to describe that powerful, almost immediate boost of self-respect and efficacy you get when you choose action over inertia.
Ah, okay. Like leveling up internally.
Exactly. It's like you've just upgraded your personal operating system. You get this new, reliable, internal messenger delivering confidence and accomplishment. And, crucially, it frees your mind for deeper focus and genuine creativity. Hashtag 5. Push yourself to finish what you start today.
All right, this final habit we're unpacking today, it's all about the power of completion. Pushing yourself to actually finish what you start today.
Right. Because starting is often the easy part.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Our source makes that crucial distinction. Starting is relatively easy. Almost everyone does it. We're great at initiating new projects, new diets, new workout routines.
The initial enthusiasm.
Exactly. But as the source says, it's the finishing that sets you apart. This is where the true, lasting growth happens. It's not in that initial burst of excitement when everything feels fresh and invigorating.
No. Where is it then?
It's in the quiet hours when it's tough to stay with it,
Mm.
when the novelty is worn off and discipline is really the only fuel you have left. That's when you discover who you truly are and what you're actually capable of.
When it gets hard.
Mm-hmm. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, unfinished work isn't just sitting there harmlessly. It becomes this insidious mental clutter that just lingers in the back of your mind.
Just chipping away at things.
Yeah, chipping away at your confidence, your peace of mind. And the material makes an incredibly powerful, often overlooked point here. How you do one thing often becomes how you do everything.
Ooh, okay. Explain that.
Well, if you allow yourself to cut corners on small, seemingly insignificant things, maybe not fully cleaning up, leaving a task 90% done, that pattern tends to generalize. It can lead you to do the same on bigger, more crucial projects or commitments.
So the little things matter.
They matter immensely. Finishing, then, isn't merely about ticking a box on some to-do list. It's actually an act of building profound internal integrity.
Internal integrity.
Yeah, it's proving to yourself over and over again that your standards, your commitments, your follow-through, they matter more than your transient mood or your fleeting desire for comfort. It cultivates clarity by eliminating that lingering mental noise from incomplete tasks.
Freeing up your mind again.
Exactly. It frees your mind to fully engage with what's next, allowing you to move forward without dragging the weight of unfinished business from the past.
So what does this mean practically for you listening?
Well, it's not about demanding perfection. That can lead to paralysis, right?
Right. Perfectionism can stop you.
It's more about cultivating consistent commitment. So whether it's something really straightforward like cleaning your desk completely,
Okay.
or studying for a full, dedicated hour without distraction, or completing a specific work task from start to finish, give yourself what the source calls the invaluable gift of completion.
The gift of completion.
Yeah, this mindset, it trains you to work with time, to embrace its structure, rather than perpetually feeling like you're battling against it. It builds this unstoppable momentum
And shapes your identity.
and solidifies a consistent identity as someone who truly follows through. You stop relying on the unpredictable ups and downs of motivation, and you start relying on the robust structure and the unwavering commitment you've made to yourself. #tag connecting the dots.
Okay, so these 5 habits: waking with purpose, planning the day, talking to yourself respectfully, acting despite delay, and finishing what you start. They aren't just separate tactics, are they?
No, not at all. They are deeply interconnected. They form this synergistic ecosystem that builds upon itself. It creates a powerful foundation of what our source describes as automatic excellence.
Automatic excellence, I like it.
Yeah. And the material powerfully reminds us of this uncomfortable yet kind of liberating truth. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your misdoms.
Ah, the systems idea.
Right. And these 5 habits, when you integrate them, they are that system. Think about it like this. Waking with purpose is like setting your GPS for the day's ultimate destination.
Okay, got the destination.
Then, planning your day is meticulously drawing the detailed map. You're accounting for potential traffic, maybe some detours.
Makes sense?
Talking to yourself with respect ensures your internal navigator, your inner voice, stays calm, confident, encouraging, even when you hit a rough patch on the road.
Keeping you going.
Exactly. Then, when that urge to delay inevitably tries to pull you off course, maybe onto a tempting scenic route that leads nowhere,
Uh-huh.
your immediate action habit is like making a quick, decisive U-turn. Get you right back on track.
Okay.
And finally, pushing yourself to finish what you start. That's the act of successfully reaching your destination. It validates the whole journey and confirms that your system actually works.
So each one supports the others.
Precisely. Each habit reinforces the others, creating this unstoppable positive feedback loop that builds incredible momentum and, really importantly, self-trust.
And what's truly beautiful about this, and what our source really emphasizes, is that by consistently applying even one of these habits, your life can genuinely begin to shift in profound ways.
Just starting with one can make a difference.
Absolutely. And when you consciously try to integrate them all, well, the cumulative effect can truly transform everything. It's really about recognizing that your current life, your current level of clarity, focus, achievement, whatever, it's a direct reflection of your existing habits.
What you do every day.
Yeah. What you consistently do, how you consistently think, how you consistently react. But the most empowering part, the real revelation here, is that you possess the inherent power to change that reality.
You're not stuck.
Not at all. Not someday in the distant future, but right now, today. By making these conscious, deliberate choices about your habits, DAG outro.
Well, that was an incredibly insightful deep dive, wasn't it? Into these really practical, powerful habits designed to truly rewire your mindset.
Yeah, and they aren't just abstract ideas. They feel like simple, clear, real-life practices. Things crafted to help you think sharper, maybe feel a bit better, focus stronger.
And ultimately build a more intentional, impactful life.
Yeah.
And maybe as you move forward from this deep dive, perhaps consider this provocative thought.
Yeah.
The version of yourself you aspire to become.
Yeah.
You know, that person who feels confident, productive, maybe more at peace.
Mm-hmm.
That version doesn't live in delay or doubt or a sea of unfinished work. That version of you lives in decisive action, in crystal clear clarity, in the profound satisfaction of completion.
Right.
And that empowered version of you isn't created overnight. It's built one habit at a time, starting today, what you choose to finish.
That's a powerful thought to end on. We truly encourage you to reflect on these habits. Actively consider how you might integrate them into your daily life, maybe starting with just one small step tomorrow.
Small steps add up.
They really do. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. Thank you for your support and for listening.